Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. This is the high-grade Gundam Aerial Permet Score 6, a premium Bandai version of the standard high-grade Gundam Aerial. Now I'm just going to mention it right away. If you're finding it hard to get yourself some Bandai kits, you can get yours where I got mine, and that was from BUYEE. Now I will mention, I thought this was just going to be a recolor of Aerial with some blue shell unit parts, which it essentially kind of is, but I thought it was a straight up exact Aerial that we would have seen before, now with blue shell units instead of red shell units. But all the colors in here have been tweaked to some degree. There are some little nice extras inside of the box as well, and one little thing that I feel lets me down a little bit, which would have been nice to see. But anyway, let's get right on into the build first, and we'll talk about that stuff a little bit later on. So first up, the first thing I have to say here is the box art is incredible. Usually with a premium Bandai box, we always get the same old thing, which is usually a monochromatic box with nothing really going on. This is both dynamic, awesome, and there should be more Gundam close-ups on box arts. When you get this opened up, it's pretty much what we would have seen with the standard version of Aerial with some nice extras. What you can see through the packaging first is we do have a little bit of a kind of stand base in here, some included stickers, and when you take a look in the manual, it's pretty much the same as what we would have seen before, just with some new images for this particular kit, but otherwise very familiar. So yeah, and here we've got some really nice stuff. First off, there's this right here, which is a stand. As far as I can see, there's no actual little bits for sticking into the holes here. You have to bring your own action-based bits, I guess, but this is very nice. It does say the Witch from Mercury printed into it, and you might be like, what's that extra stuff? But that's actually this kind of stuff around back saying what plastic it's made out of, Sunrise, etc., made in Japan. So that could have been done a little slicker, I believe. If you're going to do it in clear, don't print something on the back. Next up in here, we do have some sticker style decals as well. These are for decaling up your kit. This, I guess, you can actually stick onto that little base we just took a look at. And these, I guess, can go anywhere. These are all the different corporations. We've got Gundam, Jiturk, everyone, pretty much. Next up inside the box, we do have some stickers in here. I noticed midway through the actual making of these kits, Bandai did kind of abandon these ones. These are the ones that the sticker is on the other side. These silver ones, underneath that is where the actual blue permit is. So these are, once again, the same as what we would have seen with Aerial, just this time with the blue permit. I am happy to say, and at first I thought this was not included, but we do have the pre-molded shell units for in the chest. These are in the blue come silver. As you can see, they're a nice gradient flare. This is really what makes the high grade so awesome. So I was worrying these weren't in here, but they are. And also another thing, I feel the product images Bandai release don't really always do things justice, because the plastic in here is a completely different color. The blue is an almost kind of metallic blue. There's almost a kind of goldy greenish hue to the yellow. The red is much more subdued, but the most interesting aspect is this right here. The clear parts for in the chest, etc. These actually have little blue, shiny little permit pieces running through them, aka some blue glitter. The beams in here are in green, not the blue that we would have been seeing before, so that's pretty cool because Aerial does use both blue and green beams throughout the show. These do react to black light, which is also cool. And this is one of the nicest looking plastics I've ever seen. What the heck? This looks like maybe a green plastic coated with some kind of blue pearlescent coating. This is extremely nice. The camera cannot do that justice. This looks great in person. So when it does come to the build of the high-grade Gundam Aerial Permet Score 6, this is identical to what we would have seen before physically. Sure, there are some new colors in here, some little variations like the glittery parts inside of the clear parts, but for the, well, all of it, it's exactly the same kit we would have seen before. So if you want to know a little bit more about the build, you can check out the full review of the Aerial. The only thing in here that is a little bit different when it does come to the actual build is we do have some decal style stickers in here too, which I popped on for the review. I gave it a little bit of a quick panel line with the old school felt tipped panel liner pens, but anyway, let's check out what it looks like once it's complete. So when it comes to the aesthetics on the high-grade Aerial Permet Score 6, this is physically identical to what we saw before, so all of that ridiculously beautiful layered detailing, the beautiful silhouette, the absolutely ridiculous looking shell units, it is all here. The only difference is a little bit of difference in color, but otherwise physically identical. The clear parts in here are very unique. They've been done very nicely. There is some blue glitter inside of those, and it catches the light in a really nice sort of way. It does look like the crackling Permet effects we would have seen in the show. Nicely done. Overall, all of the colors have been tweaked to some degree. The white seems to be a little bit grayer. The reds on this are a lot more subdued. Again, kind of more grayed out. The yellow has been changed to a pearlescent, almost greenish shade of yellow. The Permet has been changed to blue, and we do have those marking stickers as well. These are just sticker style decals, but they actually worked out quite well and really do add nicely to the kit. But the real question here is, how does it compare to the OG Ariel? There it is side by side with it, and it's definitely a much duller kit. You would think if something was meant to be kind of the enhanced or more powered up version, it would look a little bit more dynamic, but everything across the board has definitely been subdued. All the colors seem to have a little bit of a darker, washed out grey tone to them compared to what we saw with the standard version of Ariel. The white is duller, the red is duller, the blue is even duller, everything is quite dull in comparison. The shell units don't pop as much. The blue obviously doesn't have as much contrast as we would have seen with the standard fade from red through to yellow, and overall it's not as vivid a kit as we would have seen with the standard version of Ariel. However, whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing, that definitely comes down to your own personal opinion. To me, the only thing that really cheapens this kit a bit is the use of the pearlescent yellow. Those sort of plastics always look a little bit on the cheap side to me. They lack detail, they look a little bit gelatinous, they catch the light in a kind of funny way, and don't look that premium. But on the whole, it is pretty much the same kit, just with subtle, dull variants to the colors. So jumping on in for a little bit of a closer comparison now, I will mention that the lighting is exactly the same on both of these. When it comes to the face, I will mention that the Ariel has the stickers on the eyes, whereas the Permet Score one does not. That's because it had a nice kind of pearlescent effect on the plastic behind it, but the same green eye stickers are in there if you choose to use them. There is the head Permet, and as you can see, it kind of catches the light a little bit better on the standard Ariel. So there's a little bit of a comparison of the shade of blue, the shade of the clear plastic, and the yellow on the chest. I will mention the regular Ariel on the left there has been flat top coated, so that will make the colors look a little bit more pastel, a little bit brighter. So it's not a direct comparison, yet again, of out-of-box builds. The Permet's very nice on the, well, both of them. Smoky black shell units with the nice red inside on the Ariel, and that is how they catch the light. What we've got then over on the Permet Score 6 version is more of a kind of clear part. It doesn't have the smoky blacky color to it, and the blue comes silver Permet Score inside, or should I say shell unit Permet stuff inside. There is the shell unit in the upper leg. I'm going to mention it right now. I can't compare the backpack shell units because I take the regular backpack off the standard version of the Ariel because I use the Mira Soul Flight unit with it, so I don't have that handy right now. The inner frame parts on the standard Ariel were in just a gray. This gray right here, again, has a flat matte top coat, so it does flat it out, matte it out a little bit more than it would be. It'd be a bit shinier than that, maybe a little richer dark color than that out of box. As for what we've got with the Permet Score 6, that's more of a nice, shiny, metallic gunmetal. I will mention the eyes inside of the face there, the eyes on that Digimon Pokemon kind of looking face in the chest. They are red on the standard Ariel. They've been made blue on the stickers for the Permet Score 6. As for the red in here, it's a lot brighter on this standard Ariel. On the Permet Score 6, it's dulled down that kind of grey, pastel-y kind of way that we see on every color on that particular kit. I will mention that the heel is not color accurate in either, that should be in grey for the venting. Finally, the white on the standard Ariel is in a pure white. It's just white, what can I say? Over on the Permet Score 6, it's got a little bit of a grey hue to it, and I will mention there's a matte flat top coat on the standard Ariel, making that look a little bit cleaner, a little bit brighter, and with no shine. And finally, the only thing that is completely different aesthetically compared to the standard version of the Ariel, the Permet Score 6 variant comes with some marking decals, this sheet right here. The different corporation logos, those are for using on whatever that you want. You can stick them anywhere. The big ol' Witch from Mercury title, that I think is for on the included base if you want to use it. And finally, we do have these marking decals down in the corners. Now, these are just sticker style decals. Usually with these, you can see the edge quite apparently on the kit when you stick it onto it, but this is a very light colored, subdued colored kit. So these actually don't stand out too much. These are mainly on the legs, there's some on the arms and shoulders, on the chest. I will mention that the Permet score stickers up on the shoulder, those are in a metallic blue to go with the Permet everywhere else, but these marking decals for stickers did work out quite well, and they look very, very subtle, but very, very nice. When it comes to the accessories, here's everything that comes inside of the box with the high-grade Gundam Aerial Permet Score 6. So most of this we have seen before, and we do have one extra, that big old blue rectangle on the right. So what we've seen before, everything now in alternate colors, is the escutcheon shield, the beam rifle, the beam sabers, and the beam effect for using with the beam rifle are now in that shade of green that is used in the Asticacia School of Technology. We have an adapter for attaching the beam rifle around back, and that big old blue thing right there is a little bit of a stand. Quite literally a stand, because the Gundam just stands on it. Bandai could have included an arm. So first up, before I talk about what this kit comes with, I'm going to talk about what this kit does not come with. There's a couple of things I was hoping to see inside of this box that we did not see. First up, there are no alternate hands. We do know by now that in order to have the alternate widespread hands for using with the standard version of the Aerial, you do have to buy the sold separately Mira Soul Flight unit, which has the hands in it. Now this will not work directly with this kit because it's a different color. The white on the back of the hands, that's a different shade, and the grey is a gunmetal in here, so those hands will not match with this kit. So it would have been nice if Bandai included some hands of the matching color. A little bit of a disappointment. The other disappointment is a little bit of wasted potential. In the episode where Aerial actually goes Permet Score 6, when it's throwing down against Grassley House, when it actually does go Permet Score 6, it's trashed to bits with a big gouge up its chest and it's missing one of its arms. That would have been nice to see some parts like that included in the box, like we've seen with multiple different releases of Exia Repair, where it's busted up. That would have been so cool and definitely a letdown. It would have been nice to actually display this kit that way, with the Permet Score 6 going and the damaged chest. Moving now into the equipment, and first up in here we have the beam sabers, exactly the same as what we would have saw with the standard version of Aerial, besides one aspect, and that aspect is the color. These are in green, which is, I guess, the safety sabers they must use at the Academy of Technology, but when it actually comes to the model kit itself, these glow under black light or blue light, which makes them a lot more unique and cool looking, and with a lot more display potential than the standard blue ones that come with the standard version of Aerial. These look phenomenally good. When these are not in use, as usual, you can just pop out the beams just like so, and pop the handles onto the backpack for storage, like what you're seeing right now. Next up in here, we've got the beam rifle. This is 100% identical to what we would have seen before, once again, besides the fact that this is in the gunmetal plastic as opposed to the standard shade of grey we would have seen with the standard version. We've got some marking decals, 2 for each side. They do kind of show up a little bit against that gunmetal. You can kind of see the edges on them, but besides that, they look pretty good, and we do have a sticker for the sight section. Once again, we do have a nice beam effect for using with this. This time it's in that crazy glowing shade of green. It pops on exactly the same way we would have seen before, so it just slides on just like that right there. Once again, this does glow when you do put it near blue or black light. This is just a blue light, a Philips Hue light, that is it, and this is getting it glowing like nobody's business. If you're using an actual black light, this thing would probably almost glow a kind of burning white. So next up in here is the escutcheon. This is exactly the same as what we would have seen in the previous Aerial review. I mean, it's exactly the same. This can do everything that did, so I'm not going to go through it all again. You can separate it into all the individual bit staves. There is an adapter holding those together around back. They can be used as the bit on form by attaching them all over Aerial and onto the beam rifle. Once again, the only thing that kind of sets this apart from the standard release is it does include some little decals, these ones that we have on here. So they just pop here and there and the individual different bit staves, and they look pretty cool. However, if you do get in a little bit close, you can see that the edges do stand out a little bit on the dark blue segments. So the last thing we have in here, and this is exclusive to this kit, this is an action base. Well, it's more of just a little flat stand you can pop Aerial onto. It does say Suisei no Majo right there, so the Witch from Mercury. Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch from Mercury, does say that in English too, and we've got the Kido Senshi Gundam up there. Now, I keep getting distracted, I keep trying to read what's on it, but all you can see is the kind of lattice grid behind it, as well as the Made in China thing around back. It's an odd decision to make it in clear and then throw all that crap around back, because even, well, depending on how, if you set it like that in the light, it's not too bad at all, is it? That's actually where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to move it. Switch those lights over to blue so it kind of suits the look a bit more, like some Permet magic. And that right there is what the Gundam area looks like once it's standing on it. From some angles you can, well, from most angles you can actually see the stuff through it, which does suck. From some nice angles, especially if lit from behind, you can just really see the embossed logo of the show. There is the option of sticking the sticker on, which would definitely make that look a lot more obvious because it's black on white and non-transparent. But the one thing that really kills me is this thing is full of holes. Full of holes. A grand total of 7 holes all the way around it, which means that this is perfect for using with the stands designed for using with bit staves and as well as some kind of stand to hold Ariel in the air. They could have included that inside of the box. The fact that you actually have to buy the stand separately is a little bit lame. So with this kit on its own, you're just going to have Ariel standing on it, which does look okay. But there was so much more potential to just throw a couple of arms into the box as well. So anyway, that right there is it for the review. This is exactly the same kit we would have seen before in a slightly different color. Now, I will mention I really do dig this, especially the shade of white. It matches really well with the blue Permet, and this subdued look looks serious and cool. I really do like it. There is a couple of mild letdowns, like it would have been nice to see some alternate parts of the damaged aspects of Ariel from that episode and that battle against Grassley. Also would have been nice to see some stands included as well, just so you can actually get more out of the included little stand. Or base, I don't even know what to call it, platform. But besides those minor complaints, this is the exact same grade quality kit. I'm so happy we had the molded chest Permet parts as well included in here. That's not just blue stickers. And we do get some green effect parts too, which is nice because that works really well with black light or blue light, which would be great to display this particular kit with. It gets the same tier standard Ariel would have gotten, which is gold tier, but there was a lot more potential that would have put the P premium in P Bandai. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, I got mine through BUYEE, link down there in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Once again, this video right here, and none of these videos would be possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and here on the channel memberships, including 10 Soldier YT, Caleb Engelhart, Dashil Marmion, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, Org59061, and Van Fawn.